Well, this is great. Hey guys, what's going on? It's the Basketball Hut here, and today we are going to be talking about two signings in particular. We're going to be talking about Andre Drummond signing with the Lakers, and we're going to be talking about LaMarcus Aldridge heading to Brooklyn. So, first reactions from me, I thought both of these were good signings. The Lakers needed a big man that can rebound and just, someone to go to, especially with LeBron James and Anthony Davis out. And then Brooklyn, they're always looking for more depth to go along with their star-studded cast of Kyrie Irving, James Harden, and Kevin Durant. So Aldridge was a perfect signing for them, definitely improves their depth. But I think people are taking it a bit too far with these two signings as to calling these teams super teams and calling them stacked and whatever. Now, the Brooklyn Nets are stacked, but they're not stacked because they have LaMarcus Aldridge or because they have Blake Griffin. They're stacked because they have Kyrie, Harden, and Durant. Like, that is a stacked team because all three of those guys are superstars. They're both some of the best at their position and what they do. So they're stacked in that sense, like they have three superstars, but they're not stacked because they added Blake Griffin and LaMarcus Aldridge, who in my opinion are just going to be good role players and not going to be quality starters by any means. And same thing goes with the Drummond signing. Like, Andre Drummond is a great rebounder. That's it. And that's all he's good at. He's a good rebounder. Defensively, he's terrible. He can't score the ball all that well. He's terrible at shooting. He's just a good rebounder, which is fine if you had more skills to your game, but he doesn't, so he's just kind of overrated. Let me get into the details of it. If you look at what he's averaging this season, in about 29 minutes a game, he's putting up 17.5 points on 15 attempts, 47% from the field, and shooting almost 60% from the free throw line. So already, it's just looking bad. I mean, 47% as a center is not great at all, unless you're taking threes. But if you look at the screen, I didn't include 3-point percentage because, well, he's shooting 0%. And to go along with the points, he's putting up 13.5 rebounds, which is no surprise there. 2.6 assists, whatever, he's a big man, that's not his role. 1.6 steals and 1.2 blocks, which on paper looks great. It looks great on paper. You're probably looking at those numbers and going like, oh, well, that means he has to be, somewhat good on defense. But if you look at his defensive rating, it's a 113.2. And to, clear stuff up, a higher defensive rating is usually a bad sign. Like, the greatest defenders usually have like somewhere in the high 90s kind of. And Drummond's 113 is not exactly great. It's kind of overrated defensively. He's one-dimensional on offense as well because he can't really score other than just get in the post, back your opponent down, and try to score a layup. He can't shoot the three. He has no finesse to his post game. He's just a good rebounder. I'm going to keep bringing that up a lot because that's what he is. He's a good rebounder. Nothing more than that. While we're on the subject of stats, let's take a look at what Andre Drummond has done in the playoffs. Now, he's only been there 2 times, but I'm going to look at what he did in the 2018-2019 season. So, in that postseason, it was in a series versus Milwaukee, I think. He put up 14 points on 44% shooting from the field and 43% shooting from the free throw line. He grabbed 13 rebounds, dished out 2 assists, and had a defensive rating of 131.8. Oh my god. That is historically bad. That's not bad. 113.2 is bad. 131.8 is historically bad. Good Lord. I don't even know what to say. That's just terrible. You mean this guy is the missing piece? This guy is gonna be dominant in LA? No. I mean, alright, I'll cut him some slack. Andre Drummond is not a first option kind of player. And I think playing with LeBron James and Anthony Davis, he'll be somewhat good. But I don't really know what to expect. Because Andre Drummond is only good at rebounding. And not only that, but when he scores, he demands the ball a lot. He wants the ball in his hands. So I don't know if that's going to continue when LeBron and AD come around, because those are two guys who need their touches, but it's safe to say that Andre Drummond is pretty overrated. Also, can I just add one thing? The Lakers now have 4 big men in their rotation. They got Anthony Davis, they got Montrezl Harrell, they got Marc Gasol, and Andre Drummond. How are you going to shuffle the minutes? I mean, I guess as long as you don't have a Harrell and Andre Drummond front court, you should be fine, I guess. God, that would be a nightmare defensively. Good Lord. I guess you could probably have AD and Drummond in the closing lineup, assuming that Andre Drummond hopefully doesn't demand the ball every possession. That could work, I guess, but just terrible shuffling the minutes right there for the Lakers. You know what, I'm just going to move on to LaMarcus Aldridge. Alright, so let's get to LaMarcus Aldridge. Let's take a look at what he's averaging this season. In 26 minutes a game, he's putting up about 14 points, on 46% from the field, 36% from 3, 84% from the free throw line, while grabbing 4.5 rebounds and dishing out almost 2 assists. Which is fine all in itself. I mean, those are decent shooting numbers, right? And then you realize that he doesn't attempt a whole lot of threes, or he doesn't get to the free throw line that often. So that's that's like false advertising kinda, I guess. Oh yeah, and he also has a defensive rating of 114, which is, I think, slightly worse than Drummond's. So not only is he bad defensively, but he doesn't space the floor a whole lot. He can't. I'm not saying he can't. He has the ability to. He just chooses not to. He just takes a bunch of mid-range shots, which, I mean, in itself, it's fine. I know it can be a deadly weapon in the postseason, but you kind of want to be unpredictable, you know? Maybe drive to the basket, try to get an and one, maybe shoot a couple of threes, who knows? And speaking of the postseason, let's see what he did 2 seasons ago when he was on the Spurs. In 35 minutes a game, he put up 20 points, shooting 45.5% from the field, 27% from 3, and 82% from the free throw line. He also grabbed about 10 rebounds and dished out about 3 assists. Solid numbers. I mean, the 27% from 3 is pretty bad, and I believe this is where he started attempting more threes. So maybe he's not that good of a 3-point shooter. He didn't get to the free throw line all that often. So honestly, I don't think this signing really helps Brooklyn a whole lot. And don't get me wrong, it makes them better. It certainly does make them a better team. It gives them a bit more depth. But Aldridge is not this like big player that's gonna he's not gonna do much. He's gonna contribute a little bit off the bench with his, maybe he'll put up like, 12, 13 points a game, and going to grab a few rebounds. But besides that, he's not going to do much. He can't play defense. He doesn't really have a variety of moves to score. He just likes to pick and pop. Especially he likes to shoot from the mid-range. Makes him kind of predictable in a way. He's just not all that much of a game changer for Brooklyn. And I think people are honestly overreacting to not just the LaMarcus Aldridge signing, but also to the Andre Drummond signing. Like, yes, these signings do make these teams better. I'm not trying to deny that. Getting the best rebounder in the game helps your team. And getting a guy who can probably put up 12, 13 points off a bench will definitely help your team. But I wouldn't consider these stacked teams by any means necessary. So before I end the video, I just want to leave you guys with a question. Does a big name signing equate to great basketball play? And what I mean by that is if you get a big time name, like everyone in the NBA fan base know who he is, and you sign him, does that always equal to them performing well, them playing good basketball? LaMarcus Aldridge and Andre Drummond are big names, but they're not going to make the team a whole lot better. They don't make the team stacked. The Brooklyn Nets are stacked, but as I said in the beginning, that's because they have that Kyrie, Harden, and KD big three. And the Lakers are not stacked like the Nets are, but they do have LeBron James and Anthony Davis. And they have two former Sixth Man of the Year candidates in Dennis Schroeder and Montrezl Harrell. So all in all, those teams are stacked, but for different reasons. It's not because they got Drummond or because of Aldridge. And I still think these teams are beatable. Well, I think the Nets are going to come out the Eastern Conference, but when they get to the finals, I think they might be beatable. And same thing goes for the Lakers. I definitely think they are beatable. Just because you have Andre Drummond, it doesn't make you automatically just the Western Conference champions or whatever. Because as we looked, Drummond is not all that effective in the playoffs. Maybe he does get effective with playing on a winning team, but I honestly can't see it. It's too much of a myth for me to even believe so. And same thing goes with Aldridge. Aldridge has consistently choked in the playoffs, and sure, maybe playing with three superstars who can all score the ball and give you 25 plus a game will take the pressure off of him to score the ball. But even if you take that away from Aldridge, he's still not going to be that effective, because what else can he do besides, score the ball? He's going to grab a few rebounds, but he can't play defense. And he's not really all that good of a screen setter. He's just, you can't do nothing else but shoot from the mid-range. So if you take that away from him, he's just going to be running on the court. Nothing else. So all in all, these signings do make these teams good, but in my opinion, I don't really see why people are calling them stacked or whatever. Because from what I see, that's not the case at all. Definitely not the case at all. Hey guys, thank you all so much for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And also let me know what your opinion is in the comments below. Do you think that Drummond and Aldridge make their team stacked? And do you think that just because they sign a big name free agent, does that mean that they're going to get a great basketball player? Let me know down in the comments. But other than that, I will upload my next video soon, hopefully. I'm trying to do it like every 2 or 3 days. But yeah, until then, I will see you guys later and have a good day.